My husband lied so casually that I almost thanked him for it. That's the part one keep replaying. Not the note, not the woman, not even the photo my friend found later. It's the moment in the kitchen when he leaned against the counter eating cold pasta straight from the container and made me feel stupid for doubting him. He looked tired, normal tired, work tired. You seriously think I'd leave something like that lying around if I cheated on you? And honestly, that sounded reasonable. I hate that reasonable still works on me. The note was folded into quarters inside the front pocket of my suitcase. My gray one with the broken zipper pull. He borrowed it for a trip with 2 friends from his department. 3 nights, cabin somewhere near a lake, fishing, beer, whatever men suddenly start doing once they hit 30 and buy expensive coolers. I found it while unpacking laundry because he never unpacks anything properly. Just leaves damp socks rolled into corners like an animal. At first I thought it was trash. Then I saw a woman's handwriting. Not romantic handwriting. That sounds ridiculous now, but I remember actually thinking that. Like cheating should at least look prettier. The paper had her name, number, and a few sentences that made no sense to me. Something about money owed, questions, meeting again. There was also a pink sticky note attached to it with a phone number. I stood there holding it for maybe 10 minutes while the dryer buzzed behind me. I didn't cry. I actually laughed once. Just this ugly nervous laugh because suddenly every stupid thing I'd ignored over the past year woke up at once. Him turning his phone face down. Him showering the second he got home. Him becoming nicer recently. People always say cheating makes someone colder. Sometimes it makes them gentler because they're guilty. I'd read that somewhere and apparently stored it in my brain like emergency information. When he came home from work, I handed him the note immediately. No planning. No strategy. He squinted at it for maybe 2 seconds. Oh my God, not fear, annoyance. Then came the explanation. Detective Bureau event. Woman connected to a case. Suit pocket. Wrong suitcase. Accident. Too fast maybe, but also weirdly specific. I remember wanting him to sound nervous. Instead he sounded inconvenienced. You went through my stuff? It's my suitcase. Still weird. That irritated me more than the note. We argued for 20 minutes, mostly in circles. Then somehow I became the embarrassing paranoid wife accusing her police officer husband of sleeping around because of office paperwork. He even laughed once. Not cruelly. Worse. Patiently. Like I was a child having a tantrum in Target. I barely slept that night. Around 3 in the morning I found the woman online and messaged her. I didn't accuse her of anything. I was careful. Embarrassingly careful. Hi, I think I found your information in my husband's suitcase by accident and I'm just trying to understand what it is. That's all. She replied the next morning. Short answers. Cold. She confirmed she knew him. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might throw up. But then my husband explained more details before work. About interviews. Informants. Some investigation he couldn't fully discuss because of confidentiality. He looked exhausted by me. And slowly, against my own instincts, I started feeling ashamed. I had this horrible picture of myself suddenly. Young wife spiraling because she found a random note. Crazy girl behavior. I could practically hear older women at family parties talking about me with pity. So I apologized to her. I actually did that. I sent a long message saying I misunderstood the situation and didn't mean to involve her in personal drama. 3 minutes later she replied, "Your husband and I slept together." That was it. No explanation. No anger. Just that sentence. I stared at my phone so long the screen dimmed. I called her immediately. No answer. Then she texted saying she'd call later. She never did. I wish she had screamed at me. I wish she'd sent photos, proof, anything solid. Instead, she disappeared and left me alone with two completely possible versions of reality. That's what drove me insane. Because his story made sense. Her accusation also made sense. And I started becoming someone I didn't recognize. I checked timestamps on photos, zoomed into reflections, compared weather reports from the town where he stayed. At one point I spent 40 minutes staring at his jaw while he slept because I was trying to determine if guilty people sleep differently. That's real. I actually did that. I stopped eating properly. Then suddenly I'd eat everything. Cereal at midnight. Pickles standing at the fridge. My emotions felt cheap and physical. 1 minute furious. Next minute horny. That part disgusted me. I wanted him close constantly after that, which made me hate myself more. There's something humiliating about clinging to someone while suspecting they betrayed you. He noticed eventually. You keep looking at me weird. I'm literally just sitting here. No, you're doing that thing. What thing? I almost asked. The thing where my brain is melting? Instead I shrugged. For a while he acted incredibly calm. Too calm maybe, but then sometimes he'd snap unexpectedly. One night I asked again why she would lie. He slammed a cabinet so hard a mug fell out. How the hell would I know? Some people are insane. Then quieter. You either trust me or you don't. People love saying that like trust is a switch. Like you wake up one morning and decide, okay, yes, today I will fully believe another human being forever. The worst part was how lonely it became. I couldn't tell my parents because my mother already distrusted cops. She'd immediately tell me to leave him. My friends tried, but after the third retelling even I sounded exhausting to myself. He probably cheated. He probably didn't. Maybe emotional affair? Maybe she wants attention. Nobody knows anything. Everyone just builds little stories from their own damage. Then my friend Natalie sent me the photo. No warning. Just dropped into our chat while I was at work. The woman standing beside a police car, smiling. I stared so hard my eyes hurt. The department logo matched the station my husband transferred to last year. Not the older station he claimed she worked with him at before we met. I felt heat rush through my entire body. Actual heat. Like fever. I left work early pretending I was sick. On the drive home I kept switching sides every 5 minutes. Maybe he forgot. Maybe he mixed up departments. Maybe there's an explanation. Maybe I'm pathetic. I got home before him and sat at the kitchen table for almost 2 hours. No dramatic music. No shaking hands. Just me in sweatpants staring at a banana turning brown. When he walked in, he kissed my forehead automatically. I almost started crying from that alone because it felt so normal. I showed him the photo. His face changed immediately. Tiny change, but real. That tiny pause ruined everything for me more than if he'd confessed immediately. Because now I knew there was something. Not necessarily cheating, but something. She transferred there later, he said. Too quick again. I kept staring. Then he got angry. Not explosive angry. Defensive angry. The kind where someone starts cleaning aggressively while talking. This is insane. Natalie stalking random women online is insane. You lied. I mixed up timelines. That's lying. Oh my God. He started pacing. I noticed his hair needed cutting. Such a stupid thing to notice during a marriage crisis, but there it was. Part of me wanted him to scream the truth. Another part desperately wanted him innocent because I suddenly saw how exhausting divorce would be. People don't talk enough about that part. Sometimes love isn't even the main thing keeping a marriage together. Sometimes it's exhaustion, logistics, shared furniture. I hated myself for thinking that. Then again, maybe everybody thinks that eventually. The fight got uglier after that. Less emotional, more petty. He brought up old things. The time I read his messages years ago. How suspicious I get whenever he works nights. How I always need drama when I'm stressed. That one hurt because there's truth in it. I do become unbearable when anxious. I poke at problems until they bleed. At one point I said, just tell me the truth and I'll stay. I don't know why I said it. Maybe I meant it then. Maybe not. He looked at me strangely after that. Almost sad. I am telling you. I laughed right in his face. Not elegant. Not wounded. Just mean. Do you hear yourself? Then he slept on the couch. The next morning he still made coffee for both of us. That nearly broke me. Infidelity in movies always looks obvious eventually. Real life is uglier because people continue doing ordinary things while your brain collapses. He still asked if we needed milk. Still reminded me my car needed gas. Still touched my back lightly when squeezing past me in the kitchen. I started watching him constantly after that. Not intentionally. My body just did it on its own. I watched how long he stayed in stores. Whether he smiled at texts. Whether he took his phone into the bathroom. I became small, suspicious, boring, and honestly, part of me resented him for turning me into that kind of woman, even though another part knew maybe I walked there myself. Weeks passed. The woman never contacted me again. Sometimes I convinced myself she lied for attention. Other times I'd wake up at 4 a.m. absolutely certain my husband had another life I couldn't reach. The uncertainty became its own relationship. It sat between us constantly. Then one night he asked quietly, without looking at me, "Are you ever gonna let this go?" I almost answered yes automatically. Instead I said, "Did you cheat on me?" He rubbed his face hard. "You ask the same question every day. Because you answered differently every time," I wanted to say, but I didn't. He slept facing away from me. I stayed awake staring at the ceiling fan until sunrise, trying to decide whether I was a wife refusing to see reality or a paranoid person destroying her own marriage for no reason. I still don't fully know. That's the ugly truth. There's no ending where I found secret photos. No dramatic confession in the rain. No final proof. Just two people in an apartment becoming quieter around each other. And me still checking his face sometimes when he says simple things. Like maybe one day I'll finally hear the lie correctly.